Hi, I'm Mike Hirsch. I've talked to you salesmen on a couple of announcement shows, and it's nice to be back with you. We're going to talk about the tremendous selling advantages you have with your 1983 products. I want to get you pumped up about what you've got to sell and how you stack up against the competition. You know, it used to be that Ford or Chevrolet would introduce a new light-duty truck and Dodge would back off without a fight. It used to be, but it's not that way anymore. Because I'm here to tell you that Dodge is back in the truck business, and we mean to keep the territory we've gained. For instance, the new hot-selling Chevy S10. Ooh, it's got a lot of salespeople running scared. You might have lost a few sales to it yourself. But you see, there's no need for that. There is no need to roll over and play dead, because in spite of its hot popularity right now, I am going to destroy the S10 image of invincibility once and for all. And this is the pickup that's going to help me do it. The new 1983 Dodge Ram Miser. Now, Miser, in case you haven't heard, is a real truck. It is America's best equipped, high gas mileage, standard, full-size truck. And believe me, it is very much for real. Fact. The Dodge Ram Miser has a 115-inch wheelbase. The Chevy S10 has a 108.3-inch wheelbase. Fact, the base payload of the Miser is 1,465 pounds. The Chevy S10 has a base payload of 1,000 pounds. I repeat, 1,000. Miser has a 465-pound payload advantage, and that's about the size, folks, of a small piano. You still scared of this S10? Good. Then let me go on. The Dodge Miser has a big 100 horsepower proven slant 6 engine right under its hood. The Chevy S10 has a lesser 82 horsepower 4-cylinder engine. Now, if you're starting to think that the S10 isn't that big or that tough, you're catching on. Incidentally, the Miser we're showing you today has the optional PXS paint procedure. But we're talking about base trucks today and base truck features. All the numbers and comparisons we'll be talking about are on the base Miser and S10 models. So let's talk trucks. Now, if your truck customers are anything like me, they're probably getting a little tired of small trucks that try to pass themselves off as roomy. And when it comes to 3-passenger comfort, I call the S10 the great pretender. The fact is, the interior hip room of the S10 is roughly 50 inches wide. Now, that figures out to about 17 inches or this much room for each of the 3 passengers. Tell your prospects that. And then tell them that the Dodge Miser measures 65 inches wide in hip room, and that's about 21 inches per passenger. And here's something that you should tell your customer because of necessity. The S10 catalytic converter protrudes into the floor pan, and that means less legroom for passengers. You know, it's very interesting that while Americans are getting bigger and taller, the competition is designing their trucks with less hip room and legroom. Well, I think I've proven that S10 is no match for Miser in size, payload, or interior comfort. Now let's get down to durability and toughness. Now, I don't have to tell you that truck buyers expect this. They expect the truck they buy to last. And speaking of tough, Dodge Miser has up to 340 square feet of corrosion-fighting galvanized steel in its makeup. The Chevy has 265. The Ford Ranger has 50 square feet. Incidentally, while we're comparing the Miser against the Chevy S10, most of the Miser advantages mentioned here will hold up equally well against the Ford Ranger. Oh, but that's another story. Now, there are many more tough truck items that Miser enjoys over both the S10 and the Ranger. Larger capacity alternator, battery, front and rear axles, a bigger gas tank. The Miser has a 20-gallon tank. The S10 has a 13.2-gallon tank. Oh, there are many more. You'll find them listed in your Dare to Compare literature that's available in your showroom. Now, if you've been paying attention, you should be feeling a little sorry for the poor Chevy S10. It's smaller, less powerful, with less galvanized steel protection, less interior room, and with a lot less standard equipment. In addition to all of the standard Ram pickup equipment, the Miser has Ram's head ornament, gold body side filigree stripe, bright wheel covers, color-keyed carpeting, pleated vinyl bench seat, wood tone instrument panel. And the bottom line? The manufacturer's suggested retail base price for a full-size Dodge Ram Miser with a 115-inch wheelbase is $5,999. The manufacturer's suggested retail price for a base 108.3-inch Chevy S10 is $6,343, and that's a $344 advantage for the Dodge Miser. And when you adjust the S10 price by adding the equipment you need to make it comparable to a Miser, you'll find that the S10 climbs to $6,524. That gives Miser a full $525 price advantage over Chevy's S10. So much for invincibility. It's like we've said all along. Miser gives you more truck for a lot less money. It's equipped, not stripped. It is the biggest full-size value price package in America. Okay, you say, you're not afraid of the S10 when it comes to selling it against the full-size Miser. But what do you do when the buyer insists on a small truck? What do I sell him when he wants a truck for personal use first and work second? Well, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd sell that prospect Rampage. And the problem here isn't that S10 scares anybody when it comes to comparing it to Rampage. The problem is that nobody thinks of Rampage as a truck because it's that good looking. It's that great when it comes to performance and handling. And who's to blame them for forgetting to compare Rampage to the smaller entries from our friends at Chevy and Ford? But the fact remains, the Rampage can and should be compared to S10 and Ranger. Rampage styling, it speaks for itself. It's crisp, sleek, aerodynamic. I don't think anybody in his right mind is going to give you an argument there. Rampage is, in fact, the equal of any small pickup in styling, price, features, payload, and something else that neither Ford or Chevy can match: front-wheel drive performance. Now, since we're talking about trucks, let's start with payload, because Chevy S10 is merely a downsized version of the big Chevy pickup. Now, you'd think that the S10 has a bigger base model payload, right? Wrong. Rampage's payload is 1,145 pounds. S10 is 1,000 pounds, remember? And when it comes to toting that payload, there's one important fact that you should drive home to your prospects. Rampage and Rampage alone, of the three trucks, including S10 and Ranger, is the only one that offers a load-sensing brake system standard. You can assure your customers that they're going to get the same kind of sure braking in Rampage, whether it's carrying a load or empty. No slip, no fade, no baloney. Now, the tough part about doing a comparison of Rampage with any other truck its size is that there is no comparison. Front-wheel drive, for example. Neither Ford nor Chevy trucks offer it. VW does, but that's it. Rampage is equipped with a 2.2-liter Trans-4 engine and front-wheel drive through its standard 4-speed transmission. S10's 1.9-liter engine is something less. Rampage can go from 0 to 50 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds. S10, something less. Rampage has an impressive EPA figure of 28 EPA estimated MPG, 42 estimated highway. S10, you guessed it, something less. 27 EPA estimated MPG and 39 estimated highway. And there is more that Rampage offers that contributes to its sporty personal size, pickup performance, and overall value that the competition just can't match, such as McPherson-type isostrut front suspension, unitized construction with double-walled pickup box, tailgate caliper latches, the extensive use of galvanized steel for corrosion protection, wide doors for easy entry and exit, color-keyed seat belts. Now, your customers probably think they are going to pay a lot more for Rampage than either Chevy S10 or Ranger, but they won't after you tell them this. The manufacturer's suggested retail price for Rampage is $6,683. S10 is a little less at $6,343. But look what happens when you comparably equip an S10 to match Rampage. Rampage's front bumper is an integral part of its design, the one and only way it comes. When you add the deluxe bumper to S10, add $59 to its price. Cigarette lighter, standard in Rampage. $23 more in the S10. Deluxe wheel covers for S10 means another $39. Inside dome light, $25. 66 ampere alternator for S10 is another $60. Halogen headlamps, $21. Power brakes, add another $92. Steel belted radials, $66 more. Full-size spare, $32. Tinted glass, $43. The bottom line now reads, Rampage, manufacturer's suggested retail price still $6,683. Chevy S10, comparably equipped at adjusted, manufacturer's suggested retail price $6,803. S10 is now $120 more than our Rampage. Now, when it comes to selling against the new small truck entries, go ahead and take your pick, because Dodge has you covered. No matter what size pickup your prospect wants, Dodge has you covered. You've seen how Miser and Rampage have the small competitive trucks bracketed. But you also must remember that Dodge has many big competitive advantages on all its trucks, right across the board. You'll find them all covered point by point in the Dare to Compare literature in your showroom. I mean the Ram 250 and 350, the Power Rams 150, 250, and 350, all the way up to the chassis cabs, both 2- and 4-wheel drive models. And I don't care what truck you compare it to, domestic or import, the Dodge Ram 50 that you've got in your showroom is the finest and most complete small truck going, with a list of standard equipment that the competition can only dream about. And last, but certainly far from least, you have the greatest sport utility vehicles on the market today, Ram Charger 2 and Ram Charger 4x4. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to agree. Dodge is back in the truck business, back for good. And that's good for all Dodge truck dealers and Dodge truck salesmen. You have the best price and value story in the entire industry. So we dare you to compare.